I first made the spiritual exercises complete form in 1956 when I was 3 years old. No. As a Jesuit novice. And Jesuits, as you know, make an 8-day retreat based on the exercises every year. So that's over 50 years I've been doing that. And in 1976, I made the full exercises again in the last year of our formation process. For the last 40 years, I've had a great passion about the spiritual exercises and making them, directing them, and for 25 years, training people to direct them and to give the spiritual exercises. And yet I know there's still much more to learn about the exercises. Well, first of all, I would not like to get in a debate with Dr. Luther about who is the real Augustinian in this discussion, or even who's the greater sinner, since he has claimed that title for himself. I won't dispute it, but I think that the fathers of the council will be certainly willing to admit that they are all sinners. And I think that's something, often a misunderstanding of the decree that we've tried to produce. It says very clearly in the decree that even the justified person will sin, and that even the justified person cannot avoid committing sin. But we also think that that doesn't mean that we are radically sinful and depraved, but that we do have this power of God given to us to carry out the commandments with the help of God's grace. I remember I was in graduate school. I was a young priest, and this sister came, and she had been studying Rahner. And of course, that course is kind of mind expanding. And so she had taken a book of prayers by Karl Rahner. And of course, you know, they're beautiful prayers, and I've come really to appreciate them, but they're things like, you know, ground of our being, you know, and all the language of Rahner, which is the transcendental language. And she was just, didn't know what to do. She said, I can't pray anymore. I'm so caught up in all these ideas. I said, well, why don't you just go to God and say 3 things? Say, yes, thank you, I love you. To me, the experience of studying theology was an experience of liberation, of being set free of very narrow concepts and very narrow ways of looking at God, and to a kind of much more open, expansive understanding of who God was and what church was and what sacraments were. And so as I was set free through that understanding, I desired to help other people experience that same kind of freedom. The focus area, Christian Spirituality for Ministers, explores some basic questions. How does our relationship with God shape and enrich our ministry? And how does our ministry shape and enrich our own relationship with God? And so the first course looks at the basic elements of Christian spirituality, a spirituality of discipleship that engages the whole person. So we'll look at prayer, we'll look at discernment, we'll look at spiritual direction, we'll look at liturgy, we'll look at the ways in which we can find God in the midst of our ministry.
So Jerry.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Well, it's great to see you all. This is a historic for me also. I'm referred to in the Institute as the number 2 pencil guy. All the technology is all totally beyond me usually, so it's kind of exciting to be part of this initiation tonight. Good evening. Well, this is a new experience for me, I've got to tell you. I've never been on a webinar before. And the problem with webinars is all I can do is look at a picture of myself because I can't see you all. But I'm sure you're out there, and there's quite a list of people, a lot of old friends on there too. So it's nice to be with you. Ignatian spirituality is not just for Jesuits. We talk about Jesuit spirituality. Ignatius's vision, all that happened, all his insights into God and everything, developed before he even thought of founding the Society of Jesus. It was a spirituality of a layman for lay people. It's a spirituality for people who want to live in the world and make a difference in the world. One of the things that I would hope is that if people, through the program, pray through the graces of the exercises, it will change their hearts. It will turn them into a certain kind of person. It will turn them into a disciple. It will turn them into a minister that ministers with the heart of Christ.